Welcome back to the garage. In this video, we're going to be doing another upgrade on the 1198S. We're going to be installing an upgraded clutch slave cylinder with the addition of an anti-rotation clutch rod. Now, the purpose of installing an upgraded clutch slave cylinder isn't just for the bling factor, although there is plenty of that. It is to make the clutch pull on the lever a little bit softer. But also, this upgraded clutch slave cylinder allows me to install the anti-rotation clutch push rod. And the purpose of doing that is so that you eliminate the oil leak that we've got going on right in here. Below the front sprocket cover, you can see we have a slight oil leak, and that's not just chain lube leaking out. No, there's actually an engine oil leak where the clutch rod passes through the engine cases. All that seals that clutch rod up against the inside of the engine cases are two O-rings. And that works fine if that clutch rod doesn't spin. But unfortunately, on these older bikes, there's nothing keeping that rod from spinning, and it wears those O-rings out, allowing oil past them. Hence the purpose of an anti-rotation clutch push rod. With the old slave cylinder disconnected from the engine case, and you can see how this is just coated in engine oil, and it's all coming from this shaft. This is your clutch push rod shaft, and what happens is this spins, wears out the O-rings, then you get oil draining all the way down the engine case, and it actually terminates right at the drain plug, so it makes it look like something else is leaking. But this is the highest point where you see oil residue, and that is the source of it. It isn't really this side case or anything like that, and that is why we're replacing this whole system. Alright, so here we have the old push rod, and as you can see, there's nothing that keeps this from spinning. Really, the only thing that would be keeping it from spinning is the bearing in the pressure plate on the clutch basket. But the truth of the matter is, as this engine's spinning really fast, it ends up just grabbing the bearing, and this doesn't rotate like a bearing. It just spins the clutch rod, giving you this leak. So I took the old bearing out of the pressure plate because it's got a bit of notchiness in there, which is, I guess, not so surprising because it's under a ton of force, including force that's a lateral force, which a bearing typically isn't supposed to endure a ton of. So I've got a brand new one here. It's an SKF, very nice one. So we'll install that as we're putting everything back together. But the real parts of note are, first of all, an anti-spin clutch push rod by K-Bike. So if we just take this out of here, you can see what makes it an anti-spin or anti-rotation rod. It's this pin right here. This slots into the clutch slave cylinder, and it keeps it stationary. And here is our new clutch slave cylinder. I went for a very fancy one just because it looked so pretty. It's made by a Japanese company called AELLA or something like that. And let's just take a look. Oh yeah. So they make this in, I think, 3 different finishes, but this one matches my bike with those gold Marcassini forged aluminum wheels and the gold frame. I just thought this would look really nice with the whole ensemble. So if you can see the inside of this slave cylinder is quite different than the one that's on the bike. Now, in order for this anti-spin system to work, you have to get one of these plastic adapters, and you see it has this cross slot in it. This just fits into there like that, and then the rod fits inside of that, and that's what keeps it from spinning. It can still push in and out just fine, just like a normal one. Now, this plastic part is a Ducati piece, because this is what they fit on newer bikes. I think in 2011 is when they started fitting this to the bikes, and so this is just an upgrade for the older ones like mine, which is a 2009. So those are all the parts. This clutch slave cylinder comes with a little instruction manual in Japanese, so it's completely unusable for me, and then 2 new crush washers for that. And yeah, those are all your parts. Now what's left to be done is to disconnect the banjo fitting on the bike, remove the old slave cylinder, and then get this one into place. Now, doesn't that just look beautiful? And it's not just a cosmetic thing. Again, it has stopped our oil leak, or at least I hope it has stopped the oil leak. And the effort on the clutch lever is actually a lot lighter, and that's because the diameter of the piston in that new slave cylinder is slightly larger, giving the system a bit more hydraulic advantage, but it does mean the throw is slightly less because of that, but I don't think it'll be meaningfully so. All that's left to do is just put the fairings back on the bike. And here we are with the fairings back on, and the new slave cylinder looking very pretty on the left side of the bike there. Everything is fitted up, and just checking the movement on the clutch lever. It looks like things are working just fine. Let's start it up and make sure that is the case with the engine running. Sure seems to be running great, and clutch action feels very good. Fairly simple install, and gotta say, that new slave cylinder really stands out down there now. Looks great, matches the wheels on the frame very nicely. That's all we have for this video. As always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all again next time.